I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of
Friday,
those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is
Just knock it off, you scumbucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of
Monday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of
Tuesday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy days.
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with a bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better you, cause I'm fucking up your program. And you feel stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all
Monday,
about,
happy days.
it's just one of
Tuesday,
those,
happy days.
it's just one of those
Happy days.
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand. These days,
I feel like shit. My suggestion is keep the distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I'm like a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here,
not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 58 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How is everyone doing this fine Thursday evening? I'm not too tired this evening. I think I'm actually doing okay for now, but hopefully it won't be like last week where I would say maybe the last hour, maybe last half hour of the show, I started to kind of fall asleep and then had to end the show because of how tired I was. So hopefully it will not come to that. Hopefully I'll be doing the show up until 8 o'clock tonight, but we'll definitely see from there. So we shall see. I do see there's a lot of familiar faces in the chat just now, which is good to see as per usual. Let me have a look and see who's here tonight. So we have Indigenous Advocate 1. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show as per usual. 14 people watching just now. Excellent. Good number. Good evening, Moody, and all patrons who follow this great stream. Well, thank you very much, Indigenous. Amanda Lee, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show as per usual. Gammon Sandwich, right time to get ready for work. Hopefully I'll be back in time for the start of the stream. Hopefully you do so, Gammon, but I appreciate you being here nonetheless. Spiffy Acorn, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Streaky Bacon, Inshallah Infidels. Chief Booty, hope you're well, Mucker. I'm doing very well, Streaky Bacon. Hope you're doing well as well. I appreciate you being here as per usual, of course. But thank you for being here again. Kenny Henny, hello, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Jemima Puddle Duck, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Let me see. Appalachian Nationalist. I hope I pronounced that right. I think I did it the same the last time, but hopefully I pronounced it correctly this time. But who knows? But thank you for being here and thank you for watching the show as per usual. Kitchen Skilla, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Evola Sunglasses, even ladies and gents, even to you too, Evola. Thank you very much for watching the show. Thank you as well. Thank you very much, Jan, Han. I don't know. My apologies for Francais or France. I don't know, something to that effect. But thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching the stream, of course. English Rose, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. We also have Rory Herbert. Hail to the Chief. Well, thank you very much, Rory. Appreciate you being here. There's also like a comment here as well. Oh, I'll just get that in just a sec. Cure from PA Young Scots, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. We also have Aunt Sally. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show as per usual. We also have Ragnar Ironspear. How you doing, Ragnar? Thank you very much for being here. Let me see here. Yeah, let me see. Yep, got it. Excellent. That's good to hear. I pronounced that correctly. That's good. Oh, another familiar face. Abby Wood, or many people would know her online as the Anglo-Saxon teacher. Hello, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. I also enjoyed your appearance on Bonnie Lad's stream last night. I believe it was airing on the Amigo News, I think it was called. Obviously, it's the streaming channel that has Bonnie Lad, Scottish Tam, and Sensum Communum, if I got that right. But nonetheless, I enjoyed your appearance on that show. That was really great stuff to watch. And please, everyone, subscribe to Abby or Anglo-Saxon Teacher if you haven't done so already. That would be much appreciated. We also have Tola Soprano, even Chief Moody. Hope all is well. Thanks very much, Tola Soprano. Hope all is well for you as well. Chief Moody, I never missed your streams. Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Appreciate that. A lot of loyalists, if you will, that come back to the show on a weekly basis. That's good to see. So, let me see. Thank you everyone for the lovely comments. No worries, you're very welcome. We also have Roscoe. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. I think that's me up to date with the chat. Hail to the chief. Well, thanks for again, Roscoe. Appreciate that. Excellent. Now, that's me up to date with the chat just now, which is all good to see. So hopefully everyone will be enjoying tonight's episode. Tonight is going to be quite a doozy, I will say that, especially if you've seen the title of the episode, the Brownification of Scotland. There was an article that came out not too long ago. In fact, I think it came out during this week, or maybe last week, but we'll definitely start off with that. And then after that, we will move on to the next topic, which will be the ongoing censorship of shows or comedy shows that have been produced mainly by the BBC. And I'll definitely cover that later on. So, but for now, we'll definitely touch upon the first topic at hand. But before I do that, I want to start off by addressing the comment I posted in the chat. Now, many people have know this already, but there have been many people in the past before I did this for like somewhat financially or anything like that at all. People have often asked me, "Hey, how is it we can support you financially?" Despite the fact I'm now working again, which is really good stuff. But for those who still want to support me financially through my work, whether it be live streaming or videos, for that matter, so basically, if you want to support me financially, you can always do so by following me and also sending me donations through Ko-fi or even just PayPal if you want to, or even if I'm live, you can always send me a super chat if you really want to. Again, when I'm saying this, of course, I really want to make this very clear. I really don't want to make out or make you guys feel obligated as if you have to give me donations, like because you follow me, you watch my content on a regular basis. What I'm saying is, if you want to support me financially, great, awesome. That's very much appreciative of you to do that. Very generous of you. If you don't want to send donations and you just want to continue on watching my content, again, that is also awesome of you guys to do that. I'm just saying the option is there now, and of course, it's entirely out of your own volition to do so if you really wanted to in that case. So, but just thought I'd get that out there, and then we'll see if we can move on to the first topic at hand. Before I do that, let me just respond to a couple of messages. It's everywhere being brown. Yeah, we'll definitely cover that. So, just real quick from Tola Soprano. At Chief Mooney, did you hear Jordan Pearson resign as tenure to Toronto University as he said the uni was too anti-white to his students? I have heard about that recently, although I didn't get a chance to read the article itself, but I have seen maybe the headline of that. And I'm actually quite surprised at that, considering Jordan Pearson has been trying to portray himself as, of course, I often talk about stuff like that, anti-white this and anti-white that, but never really wants to go to that extra mile of being like a proper nationalist or an ethno-nationalist for that matter. In fact, there's a video. I think it was. I don't know if it was Kerr or someone else from PA Scotland that shared it the one time. There was like a video that's called Jordan Pearson Exposed or something like that. If I hold on, let me just quickly see if I can find that, and then I'll see if I can post a link in the chat as well. Because I'm not. I don't know if everyone has seen this video or not, but if you haven't, even for myself, I've only seen maybe like a small portion of that, but and then I just had to move on to something else because I was probably busy with something else at that time. But hold on one sec. Let me just quickly see. It's in my liked videos. I do know that. And where is it? It should be here. Hold on one second. Oh, Jordan Peterson Dismantle, and the video is by Resurrection Europa. It's about 30 minutes long. I won't play the video during the stream, but what I will do is, if you haven't seen the video and if you're interested, I will post a link. Oops, wrong message. I'll post a link. Hello, Hightower. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. And also, Bill Affling. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. And again, I appreciate you coming along on the show this past Sunday. Anyway, here's the link for that video, again, titled Jordan Peterson Dismantled. If you haven't seen it, then there's a video for you. Either watch it later or even during the stream. Who knows? But it's entirely up to yourself, of course. But even to you too, Jacob J. 4746, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show as per usual. Let me see here. 14. That's good to see. Excellent. So Total Soprano, thank you very much for bringing that up. I'll see if I can maybe give that a look, whether it be later on tonight or maybe tomorrow. I'm not too sure, but I'm not really doing anything tomorrow after work anyway. Maybe I'll give that a read, or maybe even during work tomorrow. I'm not entirely too sure, because Fridays are usually, for what I've noticed, because it's been like a week now since I've started working there. Fridays are usually the very quiet day. Most of the people who work there full time, it may be a bit weird to say because I'm there only temporarily for the time being, but for those who do work there full time, I believe they work half day on a Friday. So it's basically just during my lunch break that they would then go away for what I know. Hopefully it might be like that tomorrow. I'm not too sure if it may be maybe the same thing like it was like last time, but again, we'll definitely see with that. So we shall see. So hopefully we'll be quiet tomorrow, and I can maybe get a chance to read through the article with that. So our pal, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Sash Bash, love your content, bud. Thanks very much. I don't think I've seen you before, but if you're new here, thanks very much for watching the show. I appreciate you being here. Amanda Lee, you're saying hi, all lurking in the background, being mom's taxi. Join stream when I can. That's no worries, Amanda. You take care. Of course, I appreciate you being here nonetheless, and of course, thank you very much for still listening to the stream when you can. So, right. Anyway, enough stalling. That's about almost 13 minutes into the episode. Let's actually get right into the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode. 42 people watching the stream just now, which is actually excellent. Hopefully, more people will come along during the stream, but who knows? We shall see. But anyway, let me just see if I can get the link up for the first topic at hand, and then we shall discuss it further on. Wait a minute, is it letting me? Hold on. It's awkward because usually I would copy and paste the link into my notepad, and it doesn't really get it all the way. That should be able to do it right. Copy and then paste. Yeah, from there. Oh, this is the one. Perfect. Now, oh, sorry, I'm late, Chief, from James Hayworth. No worries. Not to worry about that. I think you're pretty much just in time for the first topic anyway, so appreciate you being here. And yes, thank you for pointing this out, English Rose. Please feel free to like the stream. Definitely do so. That would be much appreciated from everyone. Thank you very much for pointing that out again, English Rose. Appreciate that. Anyway, let me just share the screen and then get into the first topic from the Herald. This was published on the 16th of January, which was 4 days ago, and I believe that would be Monday or Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, the header reads, Neil McKay's big read, mass migration is coming and the future of Scotland is Asian, says leading migration expert Dr. Parag Khanna. Of course, I'm assuming this is meant to be the guy here, but of course he would make a point like this anyway. But this is also something that was brought up on PA Talk. I don't know if this was brought up on the previous episode when Urbaderber first showed up, or if it was the previous episode to that when PA Young Scots appeared. I don't know if maybe this was talked about then or during that episode, but I remember, again, this was something that was somewhat brought up. but there was a point that was made. I can't remember who said it in that episode, but it was a very, very great point to make when they said that when they talk about the Great Replacement, when it comes to white Europeans, they say, "Oh no, that's just a far right neo-Nazi, conspiracy theory, and if you believe in stuff like that, then you're crazy and whatnot." Then they go on to say that, "Oh no, it's happening, but it's not as bad as you think it is," something along those lines. But then later on they'll say it is happening, but it's not too bad. You're just being too paranoid or too much of a conspiracy theorist and whatnot. But then of course they'll say at this point, oh no, it actually is happening, and you're just going to have to bend over, take it up the arse, and just accept it for what it is, basically. So now it has really come to the point where it's like they are accepting it. It's pretty much becoming now like the norm within the mainstream media, and everyone here in Britain has to just pretty much accept it at this point. And I'll just get right into the article right here. So again, not my point to make, but again, there's a point that was brought up, I believe, on PA Talk. Definitely check out that show, by the way. I definitely advise watching it every Tuesday evening. But anyway, I'll just get right into the article itself. So, Dr. Parag Khanna, and I actually hope I pronounced that name correctly, but anyway, foreign, is the world's leading authority on migration. He says a combination of climate change, economic deprivation, war and technology means billions of people will be on the move throughout this century. Scotland, with its liberalism, I just had to laugh at that. Sorry. And natural resources will be a magnet. He talks to writer at large Neil McKay. Well, when it comes to liberalism, I can definitely understand that, because liberalism is a complete utter cancer of an ideology, and having liberalism definitely has, in a way, has brought all of these migrants into the country. So, and of course, you get all of the ever-knowing dipshits on the left who will defend these people to death. No, you can't deport them. It's their human right to be here. Like, how could you get rid of them in any way, shape, or form? It's like, mate, shut up. Honestly, dude, name me a migrant that you know and well when it comes to that. Honestly, name me one. And again, they probably will never do that. They probably will never do that. It's all just virtue signaling at the end of the day regarding to that. So, anyway, I'll just continue on from there. The future for Scotland, like the rest of the Western world, is probably going to be Asian. The country will find itself swept up in the coming Great Migration. We will see a Brownification of Scotland as demographics and mass migration coalesce. Coalesce to change the complexion of the West. Scotland's political culture, with its pro-immigration slant, of course, and our geography and natural resources, which see us well placed to withstand the climate crisis, will make us a magnet for a new generation of migrants set to reshape the 21st century. Dr. Parag Khanna, the world's leading intellectual on immigration or migration, presents a stunning analysis of the future, and I use stunning in quotations, of course, to the pro-immigration side of the political debate, such as Nicola Sturgeon's SNP. Khanna's claims will be well received. Others in the populist anti-migration camp, which were probably people like us in this case, will be infuriated, even fearful. Well, of course, like, why the fuck will we not be infuriated or fearful? I mean, it's our country at the end of the day. When it comes to the context of Scotland, this could also be mentioned when it comes to England, Wales, Ireland, the whole of Great Britain, right? These islands, and again, this is not, I know this is a cliche to say at this point, but it's absolutely true to say the least. These islands belong to the indigenous people of Great Britain. In fact, saying that, I had a bit of a response on my Twitter account, which I'm still surprised I'm on Twitter. But basically, there's this, I don't know the gender of the person who replied to this comment, but basically, the mental gymnastics I got, which is absolutely crazy to say the least. So this was a tweet I made as a response to a Twitter account called Past Glasgow. It was basically in response to the Stirling anti-lockdown or anti-COVID measures that happened on Saturday. What date would that have been? That would have been the 12th or the 13th, if I'm not mistaken. No, 15th. Yeah, so January the 15th, which would be a Saturday, and that was at Stirling. Of course, I was there with many of the lads from PA Scotland. It was a pretty great day. Of course, there were some people online, of course, as in this case, Past Glasgow Twitter account mentioned that there's a lot of ruckus going around in Stirling, that there was these morons, these anti-COVID morons were just, spewing their fascist rhetoric, blah blah blah. So I basically wrote a tweet that said the COVID restrictions were never about safety; they were about control. People are waking up to the BS, and that was what the protest was about. And of course, other than that, there was like another thing to add on to that, because he then brings up us, like PA Scotland, bringing a banner that says "True Scots, not New Scots." And he was like, "Oh, that seems a very, very fascist, very racist banner to drop it in the city of Stirling, or I think it's the town of Stirling." But anyway, so I would end up responding to that as well by saying this article by the Ferret is completely slanderous. We advocate for the rights and well-being for the Indigenous people of Britain. That was my tweet, and of course, the douchebag himself or themselves pretty much blocked me after that. So of course, no surprise there, having someone having different opinions than they do, of course they would block me after that. So then that was Sunday or Monday, of course, again 4 days ago. And then earlier this morning, before I got ready for work, I noticed there was this tweet from this Twitter account called Mrs. Cloudy. Now, when I'm saying this, please don't go harassing them or anything like that at all. Like it's not anyone's benefit or anything like that at all. But I just thought I would bring this up just to make a point about this, because I think it does ties into the overall theme of what we're talking about here with this topic. But basically, Mrs. Cloudy responded back saying, who are the Indigenous people of Britain in your mind? How many generations? Which conquest was the most important ones? What wave of immigration defines your idea of British? Now, the amount of mental gymnastics here I'm seeing is absolutely staggering. In fact, I even just had a quick look at her account. I don't know if it's a woman, but maybe it might be a guy pretending to be a woman. Who knows? But anyway, their Twitter account reads, reluctant player of the game, gardener, cyclist, and cook. I didn't suffer fools, which is why my block list is very long. Independence can't come soon enough. So obviously, very pro Scottish independence. I wouldn't be surprised that they would be a supporter of the SNP with that, because most of the people who are pro independence when it comes to Scotland are very aligning to the SNP with that. But you never know. Anyway, so the reason why I bring this up to begin with, because again, it's this whole question of, well, who are the Indigenous people of Great Britain? And of course, it's the white British who are the Indigenous people. So this idea of of course, all the white people in Great Britain, or in this case in Scotland, would be very fearful and very infuriated. It's like, well, why wouldn't we be? Of course, this whole change to the country, of course, it's going to be very fearful to us, and of course, it's going to be infuriating, because you're bringing a bunch of migrants into the country who don't speak a lick of English, who probably have no interest of actually becoming part of the culture or society. They would rather bring their culture and their society over with them. And of course, the more of them come, then the more likely it is that they're going to be replacing us. So of course, there's going to be some case of we're going to be fearful and infuriated about it, because again, it's no longer going to be Scotland anymore. Like, do these people honestly believe that? I don't know, like what would be considered like an Asian name, like well, not Asian, but like a Indian or like a Pakistani name, like Abdullah or something like that. Well, do they really think someone like someone like Abdullah would actually be like a proper Scotsman? No, of course not. Of course, ethnicity does play into a factor when it comes to history of Scotland. Of like Scotland, as much as any other country in Britain, has always been white nations. There's nothing wrong with that, and there never will be anything wrong with that. Just like how Japan has always been a Japanese country, just like how India excuse me, has always been an Indian country, just like how I'm trying to think of another example. Say like China has always been a Chinese country, etc., etc., etc. But for some reason, well, of course, we all know the reason why. There seems to be an anti-white rhetoric going on whenever it brings up the idea of, well, when you say, sorry, excuse me, when we say indigenous people of Britain, often these are the same groups of people. Probably this doctor here will end up saying or asking, well, what do you mean by indigenous? Like, can you define indigenous? And when, of course, when you say, well, when we say indigenous people of Britain, we say the white people, and then of course they'll end up coming back with, oh, well, what do you mean by white people? Can you define white for me? And it's like, as if we've forgotten the concept of what a fucking white person is. But I digress. Anyway, I think I'll move on from, well, not move on, but I'll continue on from there for where I last was. I think. Oh yeah. So Canada's comments will play directly into Scotland's increasingly fraught culture wars. Well, of course he will be, because again, this douchebag is promoting the idea of diversity and all of that, but really, diversity are just code words for white erasure. It's basically a way of trying to erase the indigenous populations of these islands so that they could bring in these groups of non-whites, and that way to calling it the New Scotland. Hence why they're often referred to as New Scots. And it's just it's so apparent what they're trying to do here. It's transparent as fuck. Um, anyway, Canada, who has just brought out the celebrated new book Move, How Mass Migration Will Reshape the World and what it means for you, is an expert in political science, international relations, economics, geopolitics, and globalization. No fucking surprise there. He is a fellow of some of the most prestigious think tanks in the world, including the Council of Foreign Relations, the Brookings Institution, New America, and the European Council of Foreign Affairs. No surprise there. In fact, since they're all brought up, I'm actually curious, like, who actually runs these places or institutions. Hold on, because I don't want to jump to any conclusions or jump the shark or anything like that at all, but I have a sneaking suspicion that the people behind these institutions, or whatever you want to call them, I have a feeling there may be some type of people from a different kind of leaning, shall we say. Hold on, let me see if I can. New America. I wonder if that's maybe the actually only one. Hold on. Sorry, folks. Let me just have a look at this real quick. Think tank founders. Well, let's have a look at New America, for instance. So just real quick. And let's have a look at the founders. Founders, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Okay. So we have Ted Halstead. I hope I pronounced that right. Well, he died 2 years ago, September 2nd, 2020. Right. Okay, so American author, entrepreneur, blah 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 blah, education, right? Okay, yep. Comic Council, American Carbon Defenses. Yep, yep, yep. Is there anything to do with his history or anything like that at all? Shortly after with that, right. Wait a minute. Previous organization founded Redefining Progress. At the age of 25, Halstead founded Redefining Progress, an environmental economic think tank based in San Francisco. Well, what a surprise there. New America was New America Foundation in 1999. At the age of 30, he served as a prime right. Right. Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's really interesting. That Climate Leadership Council. It doesn't really say anything about his history, but that's starting to create a bit of a picture. I don't know, maybe this is me looking too deep into it, but starting to create a bit of a picture here. But anyway, this is the Michael Lind, another founder of New America. Lind is a fifth generation Central Texan of Swedish, English, Scottish, and possibly German Jewish descent. All right. Born in Austin, he was educated in Auckland and that. Right. I see. Right. Mhm. Okay. So, what about Walter Russell Mead? Is an American academic. He's a James former professor. Right. Father, Lauren of that. Mother of that. Right. Yep. 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 Okay. So it's kind of painting up a picture. The Ark of the Covenant. His next book, The Ark of the Covenant, the United States, Israel, and the Fate of the Jewish People, will be published in 2022. Argues that Gentile support for the Jewish state and geopolitical realities have influenced U.S. policy towards Israel as much as anything else. Right. Yeah. Again, starting to see a bit of a picture here, but what was the other one? Yeah, this one. Right. Okay. I don't know. I think what I'll do is I'll come back to that at some point. Sorry if I'm kind of stalling here, but I'll definitely see if I can come back to that at some point. Oh, sorry, I'll just come back into this real quick. So if I do find out anything more about that, then I'll definitely see if I can maybe share that on my Telegram page for you guys to see, and then we'll definitely continue on from there. Just before moving on, you've received here. Oh, let's have a look at this real quick. Hold on. Oh, from Roscoe. Excellent. So Roscoe sent in £10 for donation. Thank you very much, Roscoe. And he writes, "Love the show. I fear for Scotland everywhere I go. I see racial vagrants and degenerate riffraff. Import the third world, become the third world." Exactly that, Roscoe. Exactly that. And Roscoe, thank you very much for the comment, and of course, thank you very much for the £10 donation. That's much appreciated of you. I really, very generous of you. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate that. Where? Oh yeah, I was here. So I'll just continue on from the article, finish it off, and then we'll move on to the next one from here. So, right. Canada also advised the U.S. National Intelligence Council and has traveled to 150 countries, researching global future trends. Born in India, no shit there. He was raised in the Middle East and America, lived in Europe, and is now based in Singapore. When it comes to the future of global migration in the world imperiled by climate change, mountain poverty, economic disruption from te- technology, and I can't speak tonight. Sorry, hold on one sec. More balls really cold tonight. Sorry, folks. And deindustrialization, threats of war, and the forces of nationalism and populism. Of course, nationalism and populism is a big threat apparently nowadays. Yeah, it can't possibly be that multiculturalism or diversity or even globalism are massive threats to each and every country. No, no, no. What is a big threat is populism, and not only that, is nationalism. They're the big threats of society. Shut up. But anyway, I'll just continue on from there. Where was I after that? Right. Okay. So I was here. There's probably nobody better placed to explain where humanity is headed. Yes, basically an Indian explaining why migration is a good thing. That's great. Apparently so, but mass migration? Question mark. We have always been on the move, says Kana. Migration is a central part of humanity's long story since Western colonial colonization, began. Migration sped up. In every century since, Kana explains the number of migrants has increased because of the number of drivers of migration has increased. In the past, some Europeans wanted to get rich in new colonies. Oh, here we go. So, but yeah, of course, you would definitely bring this up. Is the whole colonization of the West or Western countries colonizing the non-Western countries? Is like, yeah, of course they're going to bring that up. So basically, this is just a way of saying, well, this is your fault, and of course, if you don't like it, well, this is what you deserve to have. I'll definitely touch upon that in just a second in a moment. Others fled disasters like the Irish famine. War played its part, as did the opening up of America, Canada, and Australia. When it comes to the progress of migration through the centuries, says Kana, the dismissal, the decimal place always moves to the right. We went from millions of migrants to tens of millions in the 18th century. Yeah, again, even I think Cyborg brought this up on PA Talk, if I'm not mistaken. Um, this is really an interesting point. This part here, but by the 19th to 20th century, we've got hundreds of millions of migrants. Right. Is there maybe like a source for that? Because I don't buy that for a fucking set. Look, I'm not saying that there was no such thing as immigration back in those times, but what I'm saying is there were like a very small and there was a very strict way of immigrating from one country to another, especially if you're from a third world country and moving over to Britain or America, especially back then. I'm sure there was a very strict process from immigrating from any third world country to any of these westernized countries. Today, climate change has been added to the forces compelling migration. Throughout this century, swaths of the planet will become uninhabitable as predicted, displacing entire populations. Right, so apparently still every country is going through climate change. Like climate change is a big problem going on in the world right now, right? Like fossil fuels and all of that, the gases that may pollute the air and all of that. It might even pollute the atmosphere, and then of course it might bring into massive crisis or anything like that at all. Like, okay, that's a big no-no. We want to avoid that. So the way to avoid that is by bringing over all of these third worlders into westernized countries, which even then there's been evidence to back up the claims that they also are part of the ongoing climate change, or the reason why there's like a much higher say heat waves going from year to year or anything like that at all. Right. Okay then. That that makes a lot of sense. Apparently, that makes a lot of sense according to Dr. Kana in this case. Another quote from him, he says, in this century, it's just 20 years. Climate change already accounts for 30 to 40% of total displacement in the world. So the drivers of migration are now threefold. You've got one third economic, one third political wars and persecution, and one third climate change. And of course, they all tie together. Look at the Syrian drought, which led to urbanization, political unrest, civil war, and an exodus of nearly one quarter of the population as refugees. In this century, we're talking about billions of people moving. That's what I'm trying to explain. Literally billions on the move. The people of Asia will dominate the coming Great Migration. Asia has more than 50% of the human population, says Kana. Geographically, Asia and Europe share a mega continent, Eurasia. Simply put, it's far easier for Asians to recirculate around Eurasia than it is for Africans to move to Europe or Latin Americans to move to America. The Asian population is also younger and more mobile. If you want to capture the future of human demographics in two words, it's Asian youth. Asian youth is well educated too, with students excelling in science and IT. Asian birth rates are still high, and Western birth rates are practically zero. Well, when it comes to the Asian birth rates, I think that's more to do with China, especially when it comes to I don't know if it's still applied in China just now, but the one child policy that's going on. Again, I don't know if that's actually still going on, but there was that going on at that time. Japan, I think there's been like a decline of birth rates in Japan because most people are not really dating anymore. They're just mainly either staying at home, playing video games, or busy at work, or I think they have like what seemed to be like a new trend of like like online girl. Well, it's not like online. Well, it's kind of like dating, but basically, especially when it comes to the male demographics, especially in Japan, they usually have like these like online kind of like anime kind of girlfriends or whatever. Like I think they call them like waifus or something like that. That seems to be like a big thing, and of course, I don't know if it's maybe a similar trend with the female demographics in Japan, but apparently they're more busy with work rather than meeting a partner, settling down, and basically raising a family. But again, I think it's just very different times going on in Japan at the moment. Now, as when it comes to the Western birth rates being practically zero, I wonder why that may be the case. It's probably because of the idea of, oh well, white people, you get don't settle down and raise a family. You don't have kids. Not only is it's expensive, but it's basically going to ruin your whole life. You have your whole life ahead of you. You need to go out there and explore and basically be a complete utter fucking degenerate. Um, and of course that's why the whole birth rate has pretty much been dropped down to zero. Another point being made when it comes to that point with Western birth rates is that they often make a point about, oh, there's like an overpopulation problem across the world, especially here in the West, blah blah blah. But it's like, yeah, there's an overpopulation problem when it comes to non-whites. Again, why even bring that up when under the same breath they'll end up saying, well, Western birth rates are practically zero. It's like, okay, then why are you saying that we should not bother with I don't know. It's so transparent when it comes to that. It really is absolutely transparent. Uh, Therefore, by the law of simple arithmetic, ever more of the world's future population in Asia, the future is Asian. Right, but when you say Asian, you don't mean Asian as in Chinese or Japanese or Korean or Taiwanese or those types of Asians you think of. What he's referring to in this case is brown people, so Indians, Pakistanis, and so on and so forth. If the populations of India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan are combined, they exceed China's population. Canada believes it is young people from the subcontinent who will make up the mass of future migrations. Much of the subcontinent faces more climate danger than China, with its higher proportion of livable areas. Chinese youth is less likely to want to leave home. Canada believes China is stable and strong, and while young, Chinese people might like studying in the West. Not everyone wants to be a political revolutionary and live under liberal democratic freedoms. Okay. Indians also have role models in the shape of migrant tech tycoons like Sundar Pichai, if I hope I pronounced that right, Google CEO, and Twitter CEO Parag. Oh, Agrawal. Now, I know bits and pieces of the Twitter CEO, but basically he came out as an anti-white scumbag. Actually, where was the tweet that? Hold on, let me see if I can find. His original tweet. I'll just come back onto here real quick, and I'll just see what everyone is saying in the chat while I have a look at this. I'm just going to see if I can quickly find this tweet because this one, you knew Twitter was going to be in its complete utter final stages of its complete downfall, or being a complete liberal cesspit when they hired this guy as the CEO of Twitter. Howdy, Kingdom of Vinland. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Streaky Bacon. Japan has been a super example of how to deal with COVID. Nothing was mandatory. Well, there you go. There you go with that. John Davidson. Hello. Thank you very much for watching the stream. Also, for people wondering how I'm able to see the chat while I'm looking for this, I'm basically using my phone as a way to look at the chat as well, just so that I can naturally see what people are saying. Japanese and Koreans have almost no kids. Well, there you go. There you go with that. So, and of course, hello to you again, John Davison. Thank you very much for watching the show. Exile Viking, there are a lot of Japanese males not dating or socializing with the opposite. The name given to those people evades me, but also Japan is social distancing with the odd achu. There you go. Actually, that could be something I can maybe talk to Ochiai at some point about that. Because I know he's Japanese, and I know that he may know more about that than I do when it comes to that. So, right, where the hell is his original tweet? Let's see here. I have to look again. Ugly Truth, Kalargi Change, exactly that. Suki Bacon again. There was about 350 million in Europe. There you go. Indigenous Advocate writes, Zionists opened all the borders of all white nations. Indeed, they did. In fact, even in America, again, something we talked about before, but there was the 1965 Immigration Act for America. Have a read through that and see who made that bill, or that act, I should say. And I think we all know exactly who exactly did. In fact, Indigenous Advocate already said that to begin with, but let's see. A picture colored all shades of blue, or as I call it, the every single time color shade. Let me see. They often use Goy frontman Chief Booty. Well, yeah, that's definitely a good point, horse, with that. Exile Viking again with that, back from my bi-weekly stream. Sash Bash were North European people, and yeah, I think even Laura Taylor once said that it was like Northwest European, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe it was that. Mick Mohammed. Hijab C Nesbit. Oh God, no, I'm bongo. Bill Athling, I see Austria has confirmed the vaccine mandate. Well, there you go. I think there was another country, the Czech Republic, have pretty much denied a mandate for the vaccine, which is quite good to see that. Let me see here. Any other responses with that? Let's see. If we're not Indigenous British, then nobody is Indigenous to everywhere. Exactly. Scottish independence advocates who also want open borders make my brain explode with the insanity of it all. Well, it's not only just that, horse. There's another point to be made about that as well. With these pro-independence people, they want Scotland to be an independent nation, but then they also want Scotland to rejoin the European Union, which makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. But anyway, I have managed to find the tweet, but it's on the Sun article. But I'll see if I can get that up here with that just now. And also real quick from Bill Athling, Northwest Europe equals the Shire. Well, there you go. That's again a valid point with that. Let me see. The tweet reads, if they are not going to make a distinction between Muslims and extremists, then why should I distinguish between white people and racists? There you go. Again, another anti-white scumbag that everyone should just avoid like the plague. Fundamentally, says Kana, Indians want to get the hell out of India. The West needs to prepare for the rise of the Asian European migration or die. Well, that's quite a sinister way of saying it, but Europe should view vast migration not just as a benefit, but as a lifeline. Kana believes the West's entire discussion around migration is cockeyed, he feels. We have low birth rates, aging populations, not enough workers, especially to care for. Oh, Jesus Christ! It's all the same like bullshit you've been hearing from these types of people, whether it's the leftists or the civic nationalists or so on and so forth. It's such a bullshit fucking argument because it's like, right, okay, why don't you make that point but for the people already living here, the white people already living here? Why not engage them and have them encourage them to get in a relationship and have more kids, to start a family? Why not encourage more people to maybe get into other kinds of field of work, when it comes to like say like laboring or anything like that at all. It's just, what was the other point they made? Especially to care for our growing elderly populations and plenty of space, Europe should be competing in a cutthroat manner to recruit as many smart Asians as possible. It's just it's utterly ridiculous. It's like, it's just, what about our people? What about actually encouraging people to get into education and maybe build a career for themselves? As I mentioned earlier on, why not encourage people to get together and settling down, raise a family, and having as much kids as humanly possible. Why not? Why is it that they're so hell bent on bringing all these brown people into the country? And we all know why, exactly why this is. It's because they want to erase white people. Of course, they will not say this outright publicly, because if they actually were to be blunt and honest and say, "Hey, we're going to bring these third worlders into Britain, or even any westernized or European country for that matter, and we're going to displace you and have two different tier systems when it comes to the law, and we're going to have more caring and more thought being put into these non-whites than we're going to do to yourselves, and you're just going to have to bend over and deal with it." Wait, nobody would accept that. Nobody in this country would listen to that and say, "Well, yeah, that sounds like very reasonable. I definitely would be a fan of that." Nobody would. Nobody would be a fan of that. None whatsoever. So it's just it's transparent when they say, "Oh, we want to bring these smart Asians into the country." It's just part of diversity. As I said before, diversity are just code words for white erasure. This is just a way of erasing the indigenous people of Britain, especially in this context of Scotland. It's so transparent, and it's so infuriating with this. Let me just continue on from there, because there might be something more to this than meets the eye, what I've read earlier on. Instead, Europe has seen the rise of anti-immigration nationalist and populist politics. Well, again, no shit, Sherlock, because again, these are our islands, and I think the indigenous people of Scotland, again, all across Britain, do have a right in saying that, hey, enough is enough. We don't want more of these people coming in here. We want to close our borders. And I think it's about time people should actually start speaking out against this and actually having our voices heard. But anyway, he says you cannot simultaneously hold the labor shortages are becoming more acute and also hold that populism remains an immutable force beneath, because the truth is that the more painful the demographic and therefore fiscal circumstances become, the more likely it is that populism will have to bend to economic realities. Jesus Christ, the arrogance from this fucking douchebag. So basically, it's saying, look, yes, there are many people that might not be liking the idea of this change coming, but you're just going to have to accept it. And also, a point to be made, you whites pretty much deserve this change anyway because of colonialism or some fucking gay shit term that they would often say. Where was I? Oh, yeah. We tend to default towards this view that national identity and anti-immigration postures are the persistent norm, and everything will have to hold and wait until a great enlightenment transpires. That's not at all the case. If that were true, Germany wouldn't be the mass migration country it is today. Around 1 million migrants arrive in Germany each year, and 13.7 million people are first-generation migrants. Recent elections saw Germany swing to the left with an SPD Green Liberal coalition and a collapse of the hard-right anti-migration AFD. That proves, says Kana, that populism is more bark than bite. Oh, fuck you. This whole idea, I'm so fucking sick and tired of this idea that, oh, liberalism is vastly popular, and all this far right stuff is no longer relevant. It's just basically like back in the day. It doesn't suit with today's times. Right? Okay, then why is it then that you're so afraid of these nationalist groups or populism groups, whether it be Patriotic Alternative, National Justice Party, Patriot Front, etc., etc.? Why is it that when groups like these come out of the woodwork and say we're against the globalization and mass migration, multiculturalism, etc., etc., you then have to go out of your way to write multiple different articles to basically slandering them, telling all kinds of lies about them on a daily fucking basis, and then even go as far to calling them terrorist groups, and saying that anyone who has these nationalist ideas or populism ideas and disagrees with anti-immigrant, who agrees with anti-immigration policies, disagrees with the LGBT stances on certain things, then you're an extremist apparently. So it's and again, more people are actually waking up to it. More people, I think, are becoming more and more nationalist and seeing through the BS, but they don't really want to speak out against it. As I said before, is because of fear. The fear of what the state may do to those people. Excuse me. Just a quick drink of my water because my throat was beginning to parch up. But anyway, and I know there may be people that may be wondering, well, how come you're speaking out against it, or Mark Call is speaking out against it, or Laura Towler, or Sam Melia, or Jody Kay, or anyone for that matter within your movement? It's because it needs to be done at this point. And I think in this case, at least see what you want about us, but at least we actually have the balls to stand up what we truly believe in and actually speak out to the masses. I mean, it has to be done at this point. Because if we don't do anything, then it's going to be far too late regarding to that. So let me have a look and see. I'll finish off here. It's quite a long article, but what I'll do is I won't see if I can. I think we're about an hour into the show already, but what I'll do is I'll just read one more paragraph and I'll post a link in the chat. So if you guys want to read it for yourselves, like the rest of it, then it's there for you to see. I'll just read out from this part. So, death of populism. Here we go. In fact, says Canna, populism is complete bullshit. Italy, he points out, has more migrants than when Matteo Salvini, the right-wing anti-migrant populist leader, was at the peak of his powers. Canna notes that after Brexit, demographics and worker shortages now mean it's factually easier to migrate to Britain as a young Asian than it was 5 years ago. And right under Trump's nose, America became more diverse, more mixed race. We should really view populism for the political blip it is. But see, this is the thing when it comes to these migrants coming into the country. We were never asked. There's a reason. A reason why a hashtag "we were never asked" gets thrown about constantly is because the general public of Britain, America, of Italy, so on and so forth, are never asked, hey, do you want these migrants to come into the country or not? Because if they were to ask us these questions, the overall answer would be no. We don't want these migrants coming into the country. We don't want them taking our jobs. We don't want them like mixing with our own people and starting families and et cetera, et cetera. We don't want anything like that. But but they never ask us because they know the answer to begin with, which is why they'll just bring them in. They'll just bring them into the country anyway and say, "Oh, this is why we need these people because they provide great food, they provide great music, and they're so smart apparently because apparently none of us Brits never knew how to plant any seeds to make tomato plants or potatoes or strawberries or anything like that at all. No. We needed these Eastern Europeans, these Indians, all these other migrants coming into the country and show us Brits how it's done. So basically, how exactly did we become an empire if we never knew all these things before these great loving migrants coming into the country to begin with? It's so it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous when it comes to that. Oh shit! I had that comment the entire time. Sorry, folks. Right. Outer Passion Zone 261. Thank you very much for watching the show, and also good evening to you too. I'll just move on to the next topic, and I'll let you guys see this article yourselves. So yeah, that was the article I read out. If you want to see the article for yourselves in full, then there it is. If you want to, so. Yeah, exactly, Ugly Truth. We don't want FGM, incest, rape gangs, etc., etc. Exactly. Julia Skinner, hello, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Watch your lads and lassies. How you doing, Steve Craig? Thanks very much for watching the show. Right then, I'll just have a look and see what's in the chat, and then I'll move on to the next topic. Angry Chief Moody is the best Chief Moody. Thank you very much, Tola Soprano. But it's frustrating. It really is really frustrating to see all these if I actually, you know what? Another point I really want to make when it comes to liberalism, how liberalism is so apparently it's the best thing since sliced bread. Listen here, mate. Liberalism is partly the reason of what's wrong with this country. Liberalism is one of the reasons why we should have stuff like nationalism to begin with, because look at stuff like all the previous terrorist attacks. Say the Manchester Arena bombing that happened back in 2017, right? Thanks to liberalism, that fucking event ended up happening when you had all those children and all the crowds being bombed to death because of what happened there. And all these people that are saying, even after when the whole terrorist attack happened, they always say, "Oh, don't look back in anger." You know, is it like by liberalism, like this would never happen. Listen here, mate. Because of liberalism, or at least partly because of liberalism, those people died because of that, and their blood is on your fucking hands because you keep spewing the whole bullshit rhetoric of liberalism or individualism or anything like that at all. But if I dare to make this point real quick, if Britain was an authoritarian state, that would never have happened. That would never have happened when it comes to that terrorist attack. Hello, Joe. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Thanks for being here. Let me see. And also, thank you very much for appearing as a guest on Sunday's episode. Appreciate you being here. Indigenous Advocate, real quick. That's one thing I disagree with Call over. I predict massive racial conflict and mayhem in Britain in the next few decades. It's inevitable. See, yeah. I'm kind of on the fence of that. If I dare to say, if I were to be a centrist in that fact, I do believe there's still going to be a sense of anti-white rhetoric spewing across the nation, and I think it's going to be far, far worse when that time comes later on in the next coming years. Do I think there's going to be any conflict of that? I think if white people are pushed to such a point, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's going to be a point where maybe there's going to be some form of conflict happening. But again, it's a case of I don't know. I hope it doesn't come to that fact, but I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen at some point in the near future. Hello, Angs. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Right. Let me see. Now there's a statue that needs to be pulled down. Liberty. Yeah. Let's see. Cool. Right then. So I think I've caught up to date with the chat. Also, just real quick, just a bit of an update as well. Again, thanks again, Roscoe, for the £10 donation. I really do appreciate that. Same thing with everyone as well. Hold on one second here. I'll just post this in the chat again. If you would like to support me, like what Roscoe did, if you'd like to support me financially through Ko-fi or even PayPal, and they're also in the description as well, the links as well, but you could basically follow me on Ko-fi or even send in a donation through PayPal or anything like that at all. Again, that's entirely up to yourself if you want to with that. If you would like to donate money to myself for my work, whether it be for singular videos or live streaming for the cause, then it's entirely up to yourself if you want to do that. The link for my Ko-fi page or even my PayPal is in the chat or even in the description as well if you want to check that out for yourselves. Again, don't feel obligated to donate. If you want to donate to myself, it's entirely up to yourself if you want to. So, Streaky Bacon, real quick. France will be first in Europe for racial boogaloo. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Indeed, when it comes to France, a future civil conflict is inevitable if the current trend keep continuing. Probably North Ireland. Is it maybe North Ireland? Yeah. No, with NI style. Probably NI style. I see. I thought it was Northern. Oh, maybe Northern Ireland. Well, yeah, maybe with that, but I really hope it doesn't come to the point of, say, like South Africa. But hey ho, again, it's just only time will tell with that. So unless we do something about it, then only time will tell. Jojo Gizmo, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Oh yeah, Northern Ireland style. Thank you for that, Exile Viking. Thank you for that. It has to come to a conflict. How else are we going to get our country back? For a point to make. So let's see. If it does come to that, then yeah, then it has to come to that. in that case. Indigenous advocate. I don't want racial conflict either, but it's coming. They will start it. Yeah. Good point. Again, very good point. Good to have Corona mostly over and we can get back to race talk. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that in this case. In fact, I think it's pretty much like died down when it comes to the COVID stuff. The only thing I can really see in the current trend of news is really what's going on with Boris Johnson and the current Tory party. But that's pretty much it. Even then, that's kind of died down a little bit. Excuse me. Right then. So let me just move on to the next topic at hand. And then we shall see what time it will be, and then we'll move, and then we'll see if we can end the show for tonight. I'm not sure where to go once America collapses. Get your crossbows while they are legal. Jeez. Right, okay. Cross that out. I don't need that anymore. I'll move on to this one by the Daily Record. Now, I know the Daily Record is a complete scumbag of a news outlet, but this is the one I've been looking for when it comes to this particular topic. So let's talk about comedy, more specifically comedy shows. Now, I know people in the chat may remember such shows like Only Fools and Horses, Faulty Towers, Monty Python, remembering shows like maybe like the modern stuff like the In-Betweeners, Little Britain, so on and so forth. Well, in Scotland, and I don't know if they were shown in across Britain, say in England, for example, but here in Scotland there were quite numerous popular shows like Rabsy Nesbitt. There were shows like even before then. I think it was called Naked Video, if I'm not mistaken. That's like back in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. There was other shows like trying to think, like Still Game. Still Game is a very popular show here in Scotland. If you were to come to Scotland, if you were to ask a Scottish person, hey, have you ever watched Still Game? They will know exactly what you're talking about. It's absolutely beloved here in Scotland. I would say it would be the equivalent of, say, the same love as England has for shows like maybe Monty Python or Faulty Towers, or maybe Blackadder, another example. Or maybe even damn it, what was the show I mentioned? Only Fools and Horses. Yeah, well, I think it depends on Only Fools and Horses. I don't know if it's maybe a northern thing that actually appreciate that show. But yeah, Still Game was a great show. I would say maybe the first 6 series were probably the classic tier. Series 7, 8, and 9. I think they were quite decent, but I don't know. There was something that was kind of missing from the original. I don't know if maybe it was because of time, but because obviously there was a huge gap from Series 6 to Series 7, because Series 6 came out in 2007, whereas Series 7 came out in, I think it was 2016 or 2017. So like a 10-year gap, I would say. I don't know if maybe or anything like that at all, but anyway. But before, so my point being made here in this case is there's another show before Still Game. In fact, you could even say it predates Still Game because it was made by the same people who made Still Game, and that show, of course, was called Chewing the Fat. Now, Chewing the Fat is a sketch show, so it has different sketches, different characters, and all of that. Kind of like Monty Python in a way, where again, like different sketches and all of that. Again, Chewing the Fat, really funny show. Considered to be another Scottish comedy classic like Still Game and Rabsy Nesbitt, and so on and so forth. Well, speaking of Chewing the Fat, it does appear on modern streaming platforms like Netflix, BBC iPlayer, and all of that. I'll just respond to a quick question from Roy Herbert real quick. He asked, Chief Moody, what do you think of Billy Connolly? I like Billy Connolly. I wouldn't say I'm like a massive fan of Billy Connolly, but I do like him. I do know that my granddad is a big fan of Billy Connolly. I remember like he would put on most of his stuff back in the day. Like he was a big big Billy Connolly fan. And I think because of film is what made me like Billy Connolly to begin with. And again, I wouldn't say I'm a massive Billy Connolly fan, because there are some points he made in the past, especially when it comes to independence, where I didn't. I don't know if he I'm pretty sure he was pro independence. I don't know if he's still pro Scottish independence now, but so there may be some things I don't necessarily agree with him on, but I still think he's quite a very funny comedian. Obviously, one of the many greats. Not just because he's Scottish, of course, but he's still a pretty great comedian nonetheless. With that, from Horse, I never met a black person until I went to high school. It's funny you mentioned that because hasn't he got dementia now? I think he does. Yeah, I think he's going through dementia at the moment, which is sad to see that someone as great as one of the many great comedians like Billy Connolly is going through that condition. It's sad, but that's I guess life apparently. But it's a shame that. But yeah. What was I saying before after addressing that question? There was something to do with. Oh yeah, it was responding to Horse. He said, "I never met a black person until I went to high school." Funny you say that, because for me, I never met never met. I never seen a black person until I was maybe like I don't know 13 or 14 years old, and that was when I was out at my town center at that point. Don't forget that show called Absolutely. I don't think I've actually seen or heard of that show before, but I'll definitely have a check that out, Our Passion Zone, and then see from there. So anyway, going back on topic, so Chewing the Fat, like all these other shows, would appear on streaming services like Netflix. I don't know, maybe Disney Plus, but that may be a stretch. But I do know they would show up on say BBC iPlayer, STV Player, maybe, so on and so forth. Well, apparently there's now a massive censorship going on when it comes to these old shows. And then I'll get onto that real quick. I'll see if I can find that later on. See from there. Right. Okay, cool. Right. So I'll just sit. Roscoe. Naked Video was magic. I think I might have seen clips of it, but I never actually watched the show in its entirety. But I do know that was the show that spawned what ended up becoming Rob C. Nesbitt. Because I know many of the actors appeared on that show. And I do know the character of Rob C. Nesbitt came from that show. Because I think the creator and also the writer of Rob C. Nesbitt also made, or I think is partly the maker of Naked Video regarding to that. So I'd never seen a black person until about fifth form in high school, year 11. I see. Interesting that. So interesting. Right. Let me see if I can share the screen again. And I've got the article right here. From the Daily Record, again, controversial, quote-unquote, Chewing the Fat sketches removed by BBC bosses to avoid offending modern audiences. This article was published on the 11th of January 2022. Some of the material deemed unacceptable and will be revealed in Karen Dunbar, The Comedy of Offence, set to air later this year. I believe, yeah, Karen Dunbar, that's the woman right there. She was also part of Chewing the Fat. She didn't appear in Still Game, but I believe she did appear in the final Still Game live event in the Glasgow Hydro, or the Hydro in Glasgow. But anyway, I'll continue on from there. The BBC has in that, just real quick, in that final live show, she plays God as a female version of God or what have you. But anyway, the BBC has removed sketches from old episodes of Chewing the Fat to avoid offending modern audiences. The hit Scots comedy series has been re-edited for repeat showings, and any material now deemed too offensive or too controversial has been taken out. Chewing the Fat launched the careers of Ford Kiernan and Greg Hemphill, who went on to write sitcom Still Game. While filming a documentary on comedy in the woke world, co-star Karen Dunbar found some episodes she appeared in had been censored. She has shown how decisions were made on what to cut from the show. Karen told the cultural Coven podcast. As part of the documentary, we went to the BBC in London, where where they edited the repeats. Let me see here. Chewing the Fat was going to be repeated that weekend, so they brought up various sketches and asked if I thought they were going to be kept or taken out. The BBC review every repeat that goes out and will take out the bits that aren't acceptable today. The result was Chewing the Fat went out, but with bits taken out that would have been in the original 20 years ago. Some of the material deemed unacceptable will be revealed in Karen Dunbar, the comedy of events set to air later this year. Chewing the Fat started out as a radio show and then had 4 series on TV between 1999 and 2002. Although, according to IMDb, or the Internet Movie Database, apparently that show is still ongoing because it doesn't have. Because with TV shows, it has like a year started and then a year ended. Well, according to IMDb, with Chewing the Fat, it's got 1999 as its year start, but then it doesn't have a year that ends. But I don't know if it means it's still ongoing, but who knows. It featured characters such as Karen, Randy, Old Betty, a chain-smoking family who use voice boxes, and a scene involving a family ice cream van working who lifts her skirt up to two young boys. Which, yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe that might not may fly by today's standards, especially when it comes to. So, sorry, let me give you a bit of a context to this sketch right here within Chewing the Fat. So, for those that don't know, there was a sketch with an ice cream van. There was two boys that go up to the ice cream van, obviously to get ice cream because it's an ice cream van. The woman who's the server, who's also driving the ice cream van, of course, gives them the ice cream, and then asks the boys, "Is there something else you are wanting?" And then the boys ask the woman if they can have a scratch up their fanny, quote unquote. Fanny, for those that don't know, is the Scottish word for pussy or vagina. Again, I'm always saying that just for context sake when it comes to the sketch in this case. So the woman obliges and lifts up her skirt. You don't see her vajayjay. Instead, you see the reaction of the boys where their mouths are wide open and one of them drops an iron brew bottle. And the woman, I believe, winks at them and then proceeds to drive off. Meanwhile, the boys are still standing there all day with their mouths wide open and just completely shocked at what they've seen. Now, maybe at the time you could say that was maybe pretty funny, more because of how shocking it was. Maybe by today's standards, that would never fly by, especially if the genders were reversed. If it was an older guy doing that to two young lassies, yeah, that I think many people would raise an eyebrow when it comes to that. Would definitely raise an eyebrow with that. But anyway, I'll continue on from there. The sketches have been regularly repeated on the BBC Scotland channel since it launched in 2019. A BBC spokesperson said the BBC regularly reviews older content to ensure it meets current audiences' expectations. Another example when it comes to certain sketches in the show that would never fly by today is a character by the name of Old Betty. Old Betty, again, just for a bit of context, is an older woman who gets interviewed a lot by people who want to talk to like the older generation of Scottish people. So talking about their experiences and all of that. So with Old Betty now, the joke of the matter is that she's what's the old term? She's a harlot, if you will. Like she's basically like a I might as well say it. She's basically a hooer. So, she would basically talk about her experiences of having multiple sexual experiences with other men in the past. Because, as I said, she's a hooer. So that's basically the running joke of that sketch. And again, that would be something that would never fly by today's standards. Because again, many of the feminists out there would decry of that. Like, oh, how dare you portray women as this? Like, this is misogyny. Like, how dare you? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, right, okay. It's like, okay, bro. Just real quick, I received another donation. Hold on 1 second here. On Kofi. Just let me have a look at this real quick. Oh, it's another one. Let me see here. Okay, cool. Let's see, from Stan One. I believe that's the recent one with that. Send in £5 of donations. Let's see, and also writes, "Great work, Chief. Thank you very much for the kind donation, Stan One. Really greatly appreciate that. Excellent. Right. I'm sorry. I'll continue on from there. So, but yeah, there's a lot of things that may not be fly by today's standards, but there's this overall argument that it's art. You know, like art can be funny. Art can be maybe uncomfortable to a lot of people, but it's art nonetheless when it comes to that. Now, I think it may be a great idea for a lot of people to maybe start either buying old DVDs or old VHSs. And that sounds really old of me to say, because if you really want to see the old school uncensored content, that's probably the only place you'll be able to find all the stuff uncensored. I cannot believe I have to say that when it comes to Chewing the Fat or any of all of these comedy shows, because it's not just Chewing the Fat that's been affected by this. In fact, we've even seen in the past shows like Little Britain has been affected by this, because in fact it's pretty much been taken off of of Netflix and Netflix UK, and also on BBC iPlayer. Like, you will never see anything like that nowadays, because it's deemed as too offensive to modern audiences. Meanwhile, when it comes to Still Game, the only character you could see on the show, or even clips of it, would be a character of Vicky Pollard. Of course, being a working class character and all of that, having multiple kids from multiple relationships, I would imagine, you can see why people or the establishment would deem that character as all right to be made fun of, but not anyone else, like Lou and Andy, or Marjorie Dawes, etc., etc. Exile Viking, real quick. They write, "I prefer Still Game over Chewing the Fat, and Sanjeev Kohli is a top bloke whom I've met in the West End of Glasgow. Is that the same actor who played Naveed, if I'm not mistaken? I might be completely wrong on that, but hopefully that might be right. He is of Sikh background, but doesn't force his beliefs on anyone, unlike those other people. That's fair. Like, sounds like maybe like a good guy, but I don't know. I've never met the guys, but hopefully, but from the sounds of things, he does sound like he's a pretty decent fellow. But who knows? But anyway, yeah. So when it comes to all of your favorite comedy shows, yeah, he plays Naveed, right? That's the guy. Excellent. So yeah, just final point on that fact. For those, when it comes to your favorite comedy shows, I would say either keep hold of your old VHS or DVDs if you have them. Maybe buy them if you can, or if you really want to, and try and avoid all the streaming services like Netflix and all of that, because again, you can imagine all the shows being on those streaming services, they'll be censored to oblivion, especially if they're on repeats on certain TV shows like BBC and all of that. Let's see, from Rory. But Boris has multiple kids from multiple relationships. Oh dear. Oh dear. Imagine if Vicky Pollard was a jogger, not going to happen. Exactly that. Oh. Well, let's see here. Right. Well, that's pretty much the topics covered tonight. So let's see. What time is it now? 7:30. Well, just approaching 7:25. I should more specific. I should say in regard to that. So, anyway, is there any questions people would like to ask? And it could be any question at all regarding to that. So, let me see. I'll just have a check on something real quick, and then I'll see if I can have a look at the chat and respond to some of the questions. It's not a question, but again from Exile Viking, they write, with all these retarded censorship going on, is it any wonder that Amazon, eBay, HMV are seeing a rise in DVD sales? Yeah, I could definitely see that, especially when it comes to well, eBay. Like, yeah, I mean, it depends on the quality of the product because I know most of the stuff on eBay are mostly used, but if it's good quality, I'll definitely go for it. But yeah, Netflix. Boris also says yes, but no, but yes, but in a total language. There. Let me see, just real quick. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. That's okay with me. Nah, that's fine. Okay, no worries, no worries. Right, cool. Let's see here. So, a white Papa, what's this here? Lazaro that don't work for me. Well, there we go. Andy and Abbott remind me of Lou and Andy. Oh God. From Tola Soprano, Chief Biddy, what mic are you using? I'm thinking of doing a monthly stream myself. Well, see, this is the same microphone I have been using for the past almost 4 years now, ever since I started YouTube. And the microphone I'm using is a blue snowball microphone. I'm pretty sure you can still get them. They're not really too expensive. I think they're about 30, 40, maybe 50 quid if I'm not mistaken. But I bought that with like a pop filter in front of it. So basically, the thing when it comes to like the microphone, you don't want to have emphasis on the pop sounding. So I'll give you an example with that, right? So I'm holding up the microphone here, and I got the filter of that in front of it just now. But see if I remove it, I'll go like this, like pop, like so. For example, right, pop filter, right? Pop filter. You can kind of see a bit of a difference between the different sounds. Like so, the p from the pop is more emphasized regarding to that, but with the filter in front of it, that covers it, and you don't get any more of the like the p emphasis being thrown out in the audio. So, but hopefully that answers your questions. I know there's other microphones that people that I would recommend other than the Blue Snowball, but the Blue Snowball I've been using for about 4 years. Don't know if it might be a time to maybe invest in a brand new microphone, especially one that might be ideal for the setup I'm in just now. But we'll definitely shall see with that in the near future. We'll definitely shall see. Budgie Burger, Chief Biddy, which Scottish city will get that one? I'm not too sure. I hope it doesn't come to that fact, but if it does come to that fact, then well, maybe the more well-known cities like maybe Glasgow or Edinburgh. But again, hopefully that doesn't happen. I really hope to God that does not happen regarding to that. So let me see. Who else? Who else? Picking guys. Imagine a black Tarzan in the English countryside. Not interesting. He dies of cold. Dear. Oh dear. Indigenous advocate. Moody, what about the revelation that only 17,000 died in 2 years from COVID? Well, I mean, that pretty much speaks for itself. I mean, it's still horrible, the amount of deaths, but it's not like this massive amount of deaths that the mainstream media are trying to make it out as. Because with this number, the mainstream media and the establishment are trying to make it out as, oh, this is the worst amount of deaths since the Black Plague or something like that. And it's like, guys, as horrible as those deaths are, it's not really that bad. Okay, like I think we need to kind of get a grip on this idea of that, and maybe to showcase to people that hey, maybe COVID is not because look that amount of number 17,000, right? That's like something you would see with the common cold or the common flu, like that type of amount of numbers, like. But because it's COVID, it's like, oh, well, then we must protect massive amounts of people. No, I think this is a prime example that COVID is not that bad. It's basically the flu. at this point in time when it comes to COVID. And the whole point of COVID going on just now is basically all about control. That's basically what boils down to it when it comes to that. So let me see here. What's picking guys set in 1972? Would you like a black Fonzie? God no, absolutely. Or Fonz? No, to be quite honest with you with that. Let me see here. What else? What else? Oh yes, I see. I've heard of the pop filter. It did indeed. Thanks. No worries, Totally Soprano. Hopefully that may help. If you're doing plan on doing future streams with that. XL Viking, has anyone ever farted into a microphone? I no. I don't think that would be like a great idea to do that, but. I recommend the conservative woman-free online newspaper. No connection to Tories. It is great. All right. Let's see. Let me have a look at that. I'll have a quick look at that actually. Let me see here. The conservative. God damn it. Sorry, I know there's dead air at the moment, but let me just double check this. Brexit watch, COVID-19, defending freedom. Okay. Right. Okay. Cool. So I'll see if I can give that a look further at English Sailor, and I'll get back to you on that. But thank you for pointing that out, nonetheless. Let me see. Bill Affling. I'm taking Mrs. Bill our first visit to Edinburgh at the end of the month. Be interesting to see what the old town is like. Oh well, good luck to you on that. I know the old town. As much as there's a lot of postmodern shite in Edinburgh, I mean, maybe not. It's not as bad as Glasgow when it comes to that, but yeah, I mean, Edinburgh is definitely a sight to see. Although you might see a lot of like stuff that's promoting multiculturalism and all that degenerate, scummy shit. But no, like definitely, it's a place to visit, especially if you've never been to the old town before, because that place is rife of history, of deep Edinburgh history or Edinburghian history, if you want to call it that. But hopefully you may enjoy that visit with that, and please let me know and of what you think of that, Bill. That would be really good to hear. Let me see here. Comments go on YouTube. Type in Macbeth cartoon. It's 25 minutes long, made in Russia. It's brilliant. They done Julius Caesar and Richard III too. Oh, okay. All right. Let me have a look at that. I'll see if I can put that on my watch later list and then see from there. What was it to type in? Macbeth cartoon, right? Okay. See that. Right. Let me see. So you said it's about 25 minutes long. Shakespeare, the animated tales, Macbeth. Right. Okay. I think I found it in Digital's Advocate. I'll see. Actually, hold on. What to do is, let me just get on back onto here real quick. Let's see, real quick from Amanda Lee. Sorry, folks, got to shoot. Thanks, Chief and Chat. Take care, all 14. No worries, Amanda Lee. Thank you very much for watching the show. Appreciate you being here. Just real quick, Indigenous Advocate, just so I got the right one, is the top one here. That's about 25 minutes and 35 seconds long, and is by a channel called Cal Smith. Let me know in the chat if that's the right one. I'll see if I can put that in my watch later list. And I'll see if I can get that watch later on. Let me see here. All right, let's see. Roy Herbert, Chief Moody, I sent you a 4-minute video via Telegram regarding Harry and Meghan. It might be worth playing. All right, cool. Let's definitely. It's brilliant, Moody. Cool, excellent. I'll see if I can get that watch later. And yeah, Roy Herbert, thank you very much for that. I'll see if I can get that watch just now for me and everyone else in the chat. Wow, I used to watch them back in the 90s. Oh, well, there we go. Right, let me see if I can find your message, Rory. Let me see. Ah, right, there we go. All right, cool. Click on the link. I'll just quickly pause that. Okay, that's fine. Close that. I'll close that as well, but I'll get that back up here. Right, okay. Of course, evening as well. Even to you too. No name, how you doing? Oh, for that video, right? Sorry, hold on. I'll see if I can get it up again. Hold on one sec. Yeah, so I'll put the link up for that Macbeth cartoon that Indigenous Advocate is talking about here. I won't put it on the show, but I'll put the link in the chat for you guys to check out yourselves if you're interested. Let's see here. That's the link for the Macbeth cartoon. Why not just watch Macbeth? Ian McKellen is great. Oh, wait, does he provide a voice for that? All right, that's interesting. Dawn Browning, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Don't know if you're new here, but if you are, thank you very much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and also like the show if you really like it. That would be much appreciated. And also, I'll cover that towards the end of the show. But anyway, let's watch this video that was sent to me by Rory Herbert. Thank you very much again, Rory. We'll watch this video that's about 4 minutes and 10 seconds long. In fact, it's sharing the screen. Hold on. No, it's not. Sorry. Share on the screen and we'll give this video a watch. So, again, almost 5 minutes long. 3, 2, 1. Let's watch this video.
Everyone, thank you all very much for coming on my YouTube channel. Today I'm out walking around an area, won't say where, just out for a bit of a walk and reflecting on what I've been reading and hearing and all the other bullshit that people say. If you're on my channel, you're on here for one reason only: to hear it from the horse's mouth. No bullshit, no political characters, no sprinters in my arse. Get it out. What other people want to say but are too scared to say. Right, what will I talk about? The one thing I'll keep laughing at is Prince Harry. Should I say Horrid Henry and Methane Markle. The reason why I call her Methane Markle is because she's fucking, every time she speaks, it's like a fucking smell from a fart. Methane Markle. Constant lies. And Horrid Henry's out saying now that he's offered to pay UK police, Metropolitan Police, Special Protection Officers their wages if they will protect him. Horrid Henry, I think you'll find that UK police are paid by the taxpayers, not by sponsors, so you're not going to get them. And the reason why you've said that is because you're looking for free protection from the UK taxpayer, which isn't going to happen anymore. You have mentioned before that you don't like England, you don't like the UK, you hate paparazzi, you want to break from everything, yet you won't shut the fuck up. Every 5 minutes you're out there saying something and trying to get yourself heard, which is a little bit pathetic in a way. Now, what you can do, you can pay for private protection. Go to a security company, your ex-special forces buddies, you know, the ones that looked after you in Afghanistan. Those guys, you can pay them now, they're civilians. It'll be a big reunion. So you can pay those guys, they will look after you. It'll cost you a little bit of money though, because nothing's free, Harry. Nothing's free. But I like what you've done. I like what you've done. I like how amidst all this shit about your protection, you've done a charity gesture. You've ignored the white people, Harry, and you've hired black people to give out food. At Martin Luther King Day, you've hired black people, you've ignored the white people. You know the white people, the ones that protected you for fucking most of your childhood and adulthood, you've ignored them. Which I find this strange because you've ignored the people who protected you. And you're helping the black community because you've now changed, Harry. You've now changed. Not only have you changed, you've also become more fucking stupid than you were before you went to America. Because you cannot do a charity gesture to Americans, yet at the same time ask for free protection in the UK. Your charity gesture should have been to a UK charity.
I
Would that have
agree.
been more fitting? Would that have been more fitting? So people see that, maybe you're not as bad as a cunt as what they think you are. But again, you've messed that up. Today's headline express. Everyone that watches this video, please try and refrain from laughing. Try and restrain from laughing. Today's heading: Harry and Meghan break silence. Holy fuck. Break silence? You haven't shut the fuck up since you fucking moved to the US? Jesus Christ. The media in the UK now just laugh at you every time you speak. It's like verbal shit coming out your mouth. Don't listen to his bullshit. He needs called out. Not many people are calling Harry out. Lots of people calling Meghan out. Leave the Harry shit to me. I'll call the ginger cunt out every chance I get. Take care. Have a good day. And subscribe to my channel. Thank you.
That's based. Oh dear. Is it actually his channel? It's not like a backup or anything like that at all. See if it is actually his channel. Yeah, I'll give him a sub. And also, what to do, folks, is hold up. I'll get the link up here. I'll post it in the chat, and please give that video a like, and also give him a follow as well if you haven't done so already. That would be much appreciated. Harry's always been an arse. Who's this chap? But where can I find them? Yeah, the link for that, Dawn, is just in the chat just now. So if you want to check him out, it's the link for the video. But watch the video, give it a like, and then also subscribe to him if you really want to. I would end the royal family in a heartbeat by Will Martin. But that was definitely a good video. Thanks, Rory Herbert. In fact, everyone in the chat, can we give Rory Herbert a 14 in the chat for that? Because it was his idea. He was the one who shared the video to myself on Telegram anyway. So please give him a 14 in the chat just now. That would be much appreciated. And also a 14 in the chat for the what was the name of the gentleman? Hold on 1 second. Trevor Cult MC. There you go. Excellent stuff. Yep, seeing a lot of 14s in the chat. That's good with that. Good. Hello, Hightower. I don't know if I said hello to you already. I thought you might like that one, Chief. I do. That's a really good video. I think I might have seen a couple more of his videos in the past. I'm not entirely too sure. But he is an Irish guy. I think I might have seen more of his stuff before, but I'm not entirely too sure. But nonetheless, it was a good video nonetheless with that. Really good stuff. So really appreciate that. Right. Anyway, there's a more 14s coming through. Right, that's good. Excellent. Right then, I think it's just approaching quarter to 8. I was about to say 7, but it's already past that. So yeah, quarter to 8 just now. Sorry, just now. Right. 14, or as Prince Andrew says, 14s. Oh dear. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you, Rory. Thank you for that. Let me see if I can get something up real quick. Because what I'm just going to do, folks, is that I'm just going to have the show maybe come to an end, because I just got a message that I needed to get something done just now. So I think I'll just end the episode for this evening. Maybe a bit out at the last minute, but I'll just end the episode here. But hey, I really did enjoy tonight's episode, and thankfully I didn't fall asleep like I did last Thursday after work. So it's great that we ended the show tonight on a high note with that. I'll definitely be back on Sunday with episode 59. I don't know what's happening with that. I might get someone on, but don't quote me on that. Maybe I'll see if I can get something sorted with that. Any more streams tonight? I believe, yes. I think Wesley will be streaming tonight on his podcast, Nefarious. I'll see if I can share that on Telegram, because I don't know, because I don't think it's for new. Actually, no, wait a minute. You know what? He's on Odyssey. I know where you can find that stream. Nefarious podcast, episode number 34. What I'll do is I'll post a link. 6:45 a.m. over here. A.m. here. Oh, I see. We're, if you don't mind me asking, Dawn, without doxing yourself, like, where exactly are you from, if you don't mind me asking? Because is that can't be Australian time, is it not? No. Right. Let me just post a link for Wesley's stream. That's going to be live. Daylight tonight, pre-recorded 9 p.m. Fair enough. Any streams to jump on at the moment? I don't think there's any other streams. Hold on. I don't know if maybe the Amigo news will be streaming. I don't know if that's going to be tomorrow night. Is John Davidson? I know you're in the chat just now. Are you going to be live tonight? I don't know if you usually stream on a Thursday night as well, but 1 second here. I may watch Winter Watch the shout at the Cuts presenting it. Melbourne. Oh, so that Melbourne's in Australia, right? Excellent. Oh, that's good stuff. Streaky Bacon Amigos tomorrow at 7. Well, there you go. Right. That time in the morning, whereas night over here. Jeez. Right. Well, there you go for John Davidson. Yes, that's good to hear. So it looks like John Davidson will be streaming tonight as well. So you can watch either Wesley, a Nefarious podcast stream. You can watch John Davison tonight. I wonder if 14 is some kind of a fraudulent slip. Oh, I hope not. Kingdom of Inland. I hope not. And also, as Streaky Bacon pointed out, I meet the three amigos or the Amigos stream, whatever they want to call themselves. That would be Bonnie Lad, Scottish Tam, and also Sensum Communum will be live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Thank you for a lovely stream. Please take care, everyone. And 14th, thank you for watching English Rose. Appreciate you being here as always. Right then, and of course, there's the link for Wesley's Odyssey for Nefarious episode 34. If you want to check that out for later on, or even just keep out tabs or anything like that at all. One last thing I will say, if you don't mind me saying, and I've mentioned this twice throughout the show, but again, please don't feel obligated as if like you have to give me donations because you watch my content or anything like that at all. It's entirely up to yourselves. It's entirely out of your own volition. So if you would like to send me donations through PayPal or Ko-fi because you enjoy my work, or if you want to support me for my work making videos or live streams, or anything to do with the cause of nationalism or anything like that at all, then great, awesome. I really appreciate your generosity. If you don't want to send in donations and you want to continue on watching my content, whenever and wherever, then again, that's awesome of you to do that. I really appreciate you guys watching my content anyway. All I'm saying is when it comes to the donation links for PayPal and Ko-fi is that they're there. The option is there, and it's entirely up to yourself if you want to donate or not with that. So, but the generosity is grateful. I'll say that with regard to that, always. I'll answer one last question to Tola Soprano. Chief Rudy, when are you going on Tola's show? I don't know. I think that's entirely up to Tola regarding to that. Because I know it's his show when it comes to that. If he wants me on, he can always ask me, and I'll see if I can, if I'm available or not. All he has to do is just ask, because if he wants me on, because I hate being that guy who would ask another content creator, hey, can I maybe come on your show with that? Because it's not my show. It's not for me to say with that. For me, it's the showrunners themselves. It gives the final word on who comes on the show as guest or who doesn't. So in this case, if Tola wants me on at some point, he can always ask me if he wants to with that. So thanks for stream, Moody, and excellent chat as always. The best. Let's see. Good night, all. It's mental here, but we have a good crew. As a local community of over 1,208 people now. That's good. Good to hear that. Excellent. Right. Okay. Cool. Good to see that. Good to hear that. Of course, with what's being said in the chat. Tonight's outro song. I don't know if I've played this on the actual stream at all, but it's something I shared on my YouTube community tab. It's where is it? Where is it? No. I'll see if I can find it on my Odyssey channel real quick. Let me see, because it's something I reposted It was originally posted on the official PA Scotland Odyssey channel, and I'll see if I can find it here. Yes, it's a song by a new band from the PA Scotland music group called Kingsfolk. Kingsfolk as in Kinsfolk. And the song is entitled She Is or She's a Traitor. How many views has it got actually just so far? 629 views with 52 likes and 1 dislike. Well, there we go. Perfect. I'll just get back to here, unmute that. And yeah, the song is up and ready, and there we go. Please give PA Scotland Odyssey channel a follow if you haven't done so already. There's the... What I'll do is copy and paste the link for that song up here. I'll see if I can also share that song again on my YouTube community page as well. So anyway, troops, that's going to be it for this evening. Thank you all very much for the time being. I will be back on Sunday, as I mentioned before, with episode 59 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. I'll be back at 5 p.m. up until 7 p.m. I don't know if I have a guest on, but we'll definitely see with that from there. So, but in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching tonight's episode. I also want to thank both Roscoe and also, I can't believe I'm forgetting the guy's name. So Stan One for donating to myself. Again, really appreciate your generosity. You don't have to do that, but I really appreciate that. And yeah, again, 14 for Moody. Oh, thanks, guys. Again, troops, thank you all very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. Thank you again for watching the show. English Weather, I just seen you just now. See you all on Sunday. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast. I will see you all on Sunday. Again, apologies for repeating myself. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And of course, have a good weekend when it comes. Thank you and take care. Good night. Bye-bye.
Shalom. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to endorse the Jewish Manifesto for Scotland.
However, Yousaf is refusing to include the defence, telling the committee scrutinising the bill that hate speech in the home should be criminal.
She is a traitor, worse than all the rest, giving us the finger and the new Scots are the best. She is a gangster, but her cult members don't care, and when she lies, my jaw drops to the floor. She is a traitor. I find it frightening, neighbours acting as their spy, coming down like thunder on your family dropping by. She is a chancer, and we're just pawns in her schemes. Remember that she really is as evil as she seems. She is a traitor. She is a traitor. No happy endings if their master plan comes true. Stand up for yourself because it won't be good for you. I think I love her. She lets Hamza have my kin, and we'll be jailed in no time. Our free speech is in the bin, cause she's a traitor. Cause she's a traitor. How can they win seats when they only suit themselves? Look at what the woke bring, and it's not good for our health. Be gone, you cancer. Want no future you've designed because you lie and demonise our love for our own kind. She is a traitor. No happy endings if their master plan comes true. Stand up for yourself because it won't be good for you. I think I love her. She lets Hamza have my kin, and we'll be jailed in no time. Our free speech is in the bin, cause she's a traitor.
You choose to live in Scotland, then as far as I'm concerned, you're Scottish. Whether you were born here and 3 generations of your family were born here, or whether you've only lived here for a few months.